This is the One Long Two Short project. I've been looking at horror and kind of natural horror. I'm gonna start here, right where it started, which would be a very small place to start. I went on Pinterest and found a bunch of horror art pieces that I really liked. I then commented on them, different themes that I found were very common, such as nightmares, the dark, death, etc., etc. I then collected all of these themes and put them in this little box. The themes I found were the things messing with humans, tall things or giants, no faces / kind of ominous faces, skeletons, children for some reason. Things are almost human but not quite human, giving that kind of uncanny valley effect. A lot of arms. Horses and deer are really common. Things that are not fully corporeal, bright eyes in a silhouette, eyes generally, forests, the color blue, women, skulls, nighttime, and death. I also use this Pinterest board to pick out a couple more narrative images that I like, just to, get my brain going. All of these to me give some sort of narrative that I could have explored. I'll link the Miro board so you can, look through all these if you want to read them, which you probably can't be asked to do, but to be honest, that's fine. Neither can I. My brain immediately went, oh, there's something here. And I think that's really important for me and my art. For the third thing I did based off this Pinterest board, I found artists who do this kind of stuff. I found all these artists, I found their inspirations on their websites, on their Instagrams, etc. And I really like them. So I looked at a bunch of these, but my favorite one was Jana Heidersdorf. She has the kind of illustrated vibe that I was going for. I wanted my work to feel like it could be in a weird, creepy kids' book from the 1800s. I contacted her. Percy goes out of their way to go contact a woman. Terrifying. I asked her, hey, look, I'm doing my final uni project. Can you give me some pointers as to who your inspirations are? And she said, and I quote, thanks for your mail. That's a pretty broad question. Inspiration comes from everywhere. Perhaps check out the Golden Age illustrators like John Bauer, Arthur Rackham, Edmund Dulac, and Theodore Kittleston. By the way, my last post on Instagram at Shikanti before the bird stuff were all about different inspirations of mine. So I did exactly as she said. This is John Bauer. It's got this very clear black outline, but everything inside the outline is shaded and there's not really any black in it. Which I really like that style in art, and I think it's pretty cool. I like how whimsical it is. I looked at other artists, and she had a lot of things on her Instagram that she really liked. Fairy tales and folklore mythology. I also tend to lean on fairy tales and folklore. I found that Edmund Dulac had done this piece based on Hans Christian Andersen's The Snow Queen. I looked into some of his fairy tales. I listed some. The plan was to just draw one of these a day, so I included some from the Brothers Grimm as well. I finished this piece of The Little Mermaid. I had a tutorial. It's not very clear what's going on, but the general consensus was that the style was really great, so I kept with the style, and I tried to draw the Emperor's new clothes, but to be honest, the stories by Hans Christian Andersen kind of bored me after a while because they weren't as dark as I thought. So I decided, hell, you know what? I like this style. I really like Miranda Zimmerman's work, who had been popping up on my Instagram a lot. It's kind of just a bunch of creatures, kind of little guys, I guess. She has this soft gentleness to her work. And they're like kind of creepy but also kind of mythological. I decided I'm gonna be inspired by this and I'm gonna make pieces. So I came up with the final pieces. First of all, I had this piece, and this piece to show the crit. The plan was to only make 5 because I thought 5 was a regular number, but then Claire went, this is your best work. 5's a weird number, make 9. You could draw 9 things in 2 weeks. And I made all of these pieces. And to be honest, I feel like all the research really helped me out here. Obviously, I included my classic thing of using monochrome colors, very fantasy work, very Percy kind of graphic, hard, thick outlines, and the white lines to separate things from, the foreground to the background. But I do really like them. My least favorite one is this ghost because it's kind of shit and the textures are bad. My favorite one is between these two. This was the first one I did, and surprisingly the first one I did is probably my favorite. Because I planned it more and the colors were more thought out, and there's multiple colors in it and I really like them. But this, out of all the other ones, is absolutely my favorite. I love the hands. They were inspired by a monster that you have to defeat in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. They're called like Phantom Hands or something like that. They come out about the ground and they are terrifying. So I decided, hey, you know what? For my last piece of this, I'm just gonna do a whole thing. I noticed that all the ones that I really like, the idea came to me in just a vision, I guess. That's kind of how my brain works. I see things very clearly in my mind. I really like them, and frankly, I hope you do too.